amendment bill, as we... Mr. Speaker.
The Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The Education Amendment Bill amends the Education Act in two principal ways that we've heard. The Minister gave a very lucid explanation of how it sets out a legal framework for a new type of school, the partnership school. And another very important area that it alters is by establishing powers around surrender to schools of harmful items and retention by schools of harmful items. So these harmful items may be defined as an item that poses an immediate threat to the physical or emotional safety of a person or detrimentally affect the learning environment. These might include such things as knives, drugs, grenades, guns, items stored in an electronic form. And this is a bill that, as introduced, included a number of new sections intended to clarify the powers of schools in searching and retaining students' property and making some key recommendations towards that. Now, the committee looked at this with a huge amount of detail, and some of these key recommendations is worth just delineating because these were not clear in the original bill. And I have to once again acknowledge the hard work of most members of the committee on achieving this end. So some of the key recommendations of the bill are allowing authorised staff members to exercise surrender and retention powers. And I want to acknowledge Mike Sabin with his work in this area for a number of years, did an outstanding contribution. Allow teachers to require the removal of outer clothing or surrender bags with safeguards, and the Minister alluded to the safeguards of this legislation. Allow teachers to require the removal of any head covering, gloves or footwear or socks. And to clarify that students may be encouraged to participate in voluntary drug patients, to clarify that drug dogs can be used to search school property, and to make it mandatory to have rules and guidelines about the implementation of this. I hear some barracking from opposition. This is crucially important. This is legislation that this committee can take great pride in because it has made the life of students throughout New Zealand a lot safer. It has made the life of staff and principals and members of boards of trustees a lot clearer. So I want to acknowledge this work by members of the committee. There were some who stood aside, but in fact those opposite, and Tracy Martin from New Zealand First, did work hard on this. Now, the key recommendations we have mentioned. I'd like to come now onto why we have this extra strand in our cable of lifting student achievement, which is called partnership schools. And one of the simple reasons for it is the only area that New Zealand is leading the world in is in inequality. The gap between our best students and our lowest performing students is the highest in the world. The highest in the world. As one submitted, I'll repeat it, as one submitted said, are we living in two different countries? Can we afford to be complacent? And the committee heard that the Partnership Schools Working Group had received 34 indications of interest in setting up a partnership school from sponsors. Groups were saying, we want to do something about this. Now, contrast that to the unions, who are ineluctably locked in to opposing anything that showed the least bit of innovation. So it was about 2,300 submissions, most of them form submissions, not a lot of original thought, but from the people who are actually wanting to get involved with this partnership schools, they were saying, we want a chance to do something about this. We want to use innovation to enable our kids to engage in learning, get a decent start in life, and we are willing to be held accountable for doing that. The significant point, it is a matter of choice. Nobody has to go into a partnership school. As outlined earlier, the most fundamental difference is the relationship between the minister and the school, the partnership school, is that the relationship with the minister will be contractual rather than regulatory. It's a contract to deliver engagement and achievement outcomes.
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. The time has come for me to leave the chair for the dinner break. This debate is interrupted. I shall resume the chair at 7:30.